Welcome back to the Titanium Hangout. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about why fans are falling out of love with Star Wars. This is a video I've been wanting to make for a long time, and just based on the Star Wars segments in my videos, on the news videos, I'm noticing that there is an all-time low of interest in Star Wars. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm going to share you all the reasons that I'm seeing, not only from myself, but from comments in my comment section. And they're falling out of love with the modern Star Wars thrust back into Kenner. And a lot of the times, these people still love Star Wars. They just want to collect something that they feel is going to pay off right. I'm going to talk about all of that. But then we're going to have to talk about the media. I've been accused of being, anti-woke, which I've never really heard of that, but okay. I'm being accused of that. I will discuss this situation. So I'm going to save the media part for the end. Of course, the media plays a massive role in the loss of interest in a franchise, so I'm going to have to discuss that. But it's going to be a little bit political in there, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to mostly stick with the facts on that, but I have to throw a little opinion in there. But we will talk about this and more coming up. For those of you who have been watching my channel for some time, have heard my story of how the Power of the Force 2 got me into collecting. Like, I was collecting video games, actually. I liked video games. I was deep into collecting TurboGrafx-16 when I bought my first Power of the Force Star Wars figure, 1996. And I was hooked, and I started eventually collecting vintage, and then Transformers in 97, and then now I'm up to like 80-something toy lines. But the thing about this is that Star Wars is what started collecting for me. Star Wars is the only reason this channel even exists. It wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the franchise Star Wars. And I have almost no interest in anything being produced in 2024. I can only find 5 things that I might buy in 2024 that's aside from the old stuff that might be on clearance at Ollie's. Anything new? Maybe only 5 things. I'll discuss at least one of those. So why are we seeing this phenomenon? I do personally believe that the large majority of people that collect and buy figures are original trilogy collectors, for the most part. Original trilogy collectors that got into it because of original trilogy, the stuff that Kenner made, but they want modern iterations of those. And that's the way I feel. And that's what I'm seeing. The only problem is I don't think all of them collect Black Series. So a lot of people don't want to collect 2 scales and multiple scales. So carrying on multiple scales is kind of one of the issues. But the first real issue is the character selection. So we want to say people want to complete what they had from back in the day. And here we are, decades into this, and we still can't complete in a modern iteration of every figure made. And Kenner, don't understand why not, but we keep getting a lot of stuff that just isn't of interest to me or most of the collectors. So the big problem is character selection. And yes, there's people that want Clone Wars era, there's people that want prequels, and they're supplying that. Hasbro's supplying that. But original trilogy collectors largely are being left in the cold, and a lot of them are the ones that were like me. I was buying 3 of everything. I stopped that years ago because of the practices, because I wasn't interested in what was coming out, and then now, because I'm seeing everything on clearance, it's a real waste of time. But we will talk about price. So the next point that I want to talk about is the collect them all mentality. You know, it's kind of feel like when you're collecting Star Wars, you're just buying random stuff that doesn't really have an end goal in mind. It's just randomly just showing up here and there, and you're just buying it, maybe you don't. There's no goal in mind. It doesn't feel satisfying. Really buying anything, especially Black Series, is very unsatisfying because it doesn't feel like you're getting anywhere. Yes, sometimes you feel like you collect and you finish a team, or you can finish a scene, or a diorama, or something like that, and that does feel good and satisfying. But what's going on right now, it's been going on for the last year and a half, 2 years, is that you just get the same figures over and over and over, and you get those figures with slight repaints, and then, yeah, maybe they'll get another name. Maybe that was the design from the beginning, or Mandalorian heavy. I mean, I gotta tell you that the Mandalorian figure itself has really bothered me, because I bought a Mandalorian figure and I paid extra to get the first version, and now there's so many out there, I don't even know. I don't even care about Mandalorian. I won't be buying another Mandalorian ever because there's too many out there. I don't see a point of buying any other Mandalorian figure ever again. All the while, I can't complete the original 96. And again, does somebody have the exact number of how many of these they put out? And yes, if they put out 15 Mandalorians, that's 15 figure releases. So yeah, that all has to be counted. Every single one of them has to be counted. They put them out with 6 different boxes. The white box, the red box, the black box, the brown box, the green box, the blue box. That all has to be counted in there. And so with all of that, it is very frustrating because Collect 'em All is out the door and Collect Barely is what's going on right now. Seriously, I'm not joking. It's Collect Barely. They've given up on Collect 'em All. And now it's Collect Barely. So check this out. This is something that's available March 20th of 2024. Now, I just looked up on eBay Mace Windu. I can go get me a Mace Windu on eBay for $12. So why do I want to buy this overpriced? And I'm not going to get a price yet, so we'll hold on to price. But why would I want to buy this? What gets me excited? A purple clone trooper of whatever clone. I'm not into the clones. I'm not bashing anyone that's into the clones. I understand a lot of people are into the clone era. A lot of people are into the prequels and stuff. And I am warming up to the prequels. But I gotta say that this is just a cash grab for the people that want a purple clone trooper. That dude should be $25 by himself. Not part of buying the third or fourth Mace Windu. It's just not cool, man. It's not cool. So what else are they offering? They're offering these ghost figures. I gotta tell you, the Yoda was $7, and still not at a price. Price is coming up. Yoda was $7 on clearance at Ollie's or Ross, one of those places, and I was able to get it there. Ben was, I don't know if he ever went to clearance. And then now to get an Anakin, you got to buy this 3-pack. So all the people that collected all along, they have these 2 figures. You have to buy all 3. So you have to buy the other 2. What are you gonna do with the first 2 you bought? They're just going to be like in a tub somewhere? Is that Hasbro's plan for all the collectors to put them in a tub somewhere? I think it's ridiculous that they're doing it like this. And you're not going to be able to get your Anakin separately. But you know what? They could win me back if they put Anakin out with the correct actor's head on it. I mean, I don't like this at all. Even if you say Hayden Christensen is in this, right? He's in it. He is Anakin. What did Darth Vader look like when he died? What did Anakin look like when he died? Because that's how you come back as a ghost. Not, you don't come back what you look like in your 20s. That's not how it works. Then how come Obi-Wan don't look like Ewan McGregor? That's not how it works. Alright, so we are going to talk about price now, because price is a huge issue, a huge deal. But we've already talked about the character selection, and then we've talked about the Collect 'em All is completely eradicated from Hasbro. Now we're getting into price discussion. Now I did use a new screen capture tool. I'm getting used to it. It saved me about 10 minutes of cutting and editing the old way I did it. And I'll be better in the future playing with this new tool I got. But anyhow, okay. Look how this stuff is expensive now. Now the Black Series going from $20. It was 20 for a long time, to 23, then to 25, just like G.I. Joe Classified, and I think Marvel's about the same thing. But if you look at all of this, they put them on sale for 14 or 15 bucks, but nobody wants them. Now, part of the problem here is that the people that wanted them, they've already bought them. If you're like me and you're like, hey, I'll pony up for what I want. I do. I pony up for what I want because I assume it will sell out. But then you start seeing a lot of this stuff, almost all of this stuff, has shown up at Ollie's or Ross for $6. Maybe 10 at the Ollie's. You start to second guess whether or not you'd want to buy anything going forward when the high price is actually commanding a low clearance, and you find it in the future. Now, going forward, we're not going to see as much as Ollie's and Ross, but you will see a lot of figures slip through. A lot of figures randomly slipping through, but you can't count on that. So it's a double-edged sword. Let's look at the vintage collection stuff here. And this is, I would say, if I were to pick one scale to collect, it would be either the vintage collection or the retro. But I don't like the direction of the retro. Now looking at this, now they want 17 to 20 bucks a figure. And I'm not even, I guess I should get into it, where we have closed packaged expensive $20 figures that you can't even see the figure. It's not in a proper blister pack and all that. With all of this, almost every one of these figures that they've clearanced down from the massive $17 price point to 12 or 13 bucks is still in stock. Neenum is sold out, so I've highlighted him. But I'm in the camp that I don't want even one of these figures for 17. I refuse to pay 17 for any of them. So if I miss out on every single figure they make in the vintage collection for the rest of my life, then that's fine. If I find it at Ross or Ollie's for $4, I'll buy it. And I just think that's ridiculous. I mean, I thought 10 was too much when they started with 10. 17. It's asinine. That's why they rot on Walmart pegs. They rot there. And they're going to rot for $12.21. $12 is an okay price. But 17 is ridiculous. And then the crazy prices they charge for the closed box, specialty ones. I mean, it's insane. Here's some other stuff we got going on. This is Hasbro Pulse. The other clearance of the vintage collection and stuff like that. And again, none of it's selling out. And it's all on sale. I can't believe that the Boba Fett's Slave 1 ship. I have it. I'm looking at it. Hold up a second. I'm looking at it right now. I've got the first release of it. Amazon exclusive. It says Slave 1 on the box. $125. And I actually got mine as a clearance deal on Amazon for $50. But this is a ridiculous price. Like, their sale is still $125. I wouldn't even pay $100 for it right now with it flooded on the market. But for a while, people were paying like $250, $300 for the Amazon version. And they might still, because it has the right name of the ship on it. But it's just crazy. The prices are too high. And the offerings they have, I mean, we already discussed the offerings, but the price is just way too high for the market to be satisfied. Going to touch on retro collection real quick. I got to say that the more vintage collection stuff they put out there, the better it sells. Now, the other two, I actually can't find them right now on their site, and which is kind of crazy. But look at this. This stuff is still in stock. It's not sold out. The reason the Wave 1 stuff is not sold out, and it's a dirty move by Hasbro, but they reissued the Wave 1, but so many people that really wanted it already got it, so why do they want it again? So the Yak Face Wave, that's sold out, and then the other wave that had the R2 and C-3PO that are back metalized, that's sold out. I bought them because I knew that I wanted them, and I'm going to get them. And I hoped I could find a second set that I could open up for half price or something down the road. But they're sold out. It's gone. Proof that that original trilogy is where it's at, and that Hasbro's thrown all of these collectors back into the original trilogy's arms for collecting. Now, I want to point this out here. This is something that when I was collecting in the 90s, nobody cared about these. Nobody. I ended up buying up some in the early aughts for real cheap. But nobody cared about Ewoks or droids. And now, if you watch and you look at Star Wars YouTubers, a lot of Star Wars YouTubers have jumped ship completely from modern and have focused on this. I'm not gonna lie. It's almost inspired me to pull mine out and do a video. And I will eventually pull my collection of these back out and do a video. But here's the thing, and this is the funny part, and I'm really gonna test this theory when I do it. But I made these videos years ago, got almost no views. I bet you today they'd get a lot more views because most collectors are more interested in Kenner than they are in anything from Hasbro. Now for the topic of the media, and as I promised, I will address the whole I'm being accused of being anti-woke. I want to tell you I've worked in the restaurant industry for 24 years. I worked with a diverse group of people. I've worked with a lot of people in the gay community, gay, lesbian, bi. I know one trans person, and I got to tell you, I did not ask him how his pipe installation is going. I don't think that's any of my business at all. But as you know, most of you know my political affiliations, and of course I believe in freedom. Freedom for everybody. And I would say freedom for every American citizen, freedom for everybody in the world. Right now we have 2 wars going on. The powers that be in the U.S. want to start that Taiwan war. That is anti-freedom, by the way. War is anti-freedom in the capacity that's going on in our world right now, so I disagree with all of them. But what I want to say is Disney, they're making bad decisions, real bad decisions, with every piece of media they put out recently. So in the restaurant industry, and I worked with about thousands, 4,000 people, several hundred people that identify as gay, lesbian, or bi, and this actually is very consistent with my experience in the restaurant industry working with people. About 7% are part of the gay community, and I got to tell you that a lot of them, the vast majority of them, are good people that work hard, that deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. They deserve all the freedoms and rights that I enjoy. Everything. I have absolutely nothing against them enjoying every right. A lot of them are my friends, colleagues I still deal with today. We talk about topics and situations, issues. You know, the only thing we don't talk about is this. Oddly enough, this is the only thing we don't talk about. We actually do not ever talk about this because it never comes up. They're the same as me. The only thing is they go home to a different partner. That's it. That's the only difference. And so with all of this, I support freedom for all people. So it's not just Star Wars that is being affected by this, and I do not use the term woke. I find it to be a derogatory term that negatively affects those people that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. I don't use it. I dare anybody to put a timestamp on a video that I've used the term woke or use it in a derogatory manner. I think that it is a derogatory term, and it's meant to be a negative slight to those people. And with that, Willow. Disney made this Willow show. It is absolutely terrible. It is one of the worst shows I've ever watched in my life. I have one litmus test for whether or not something's good. Would I consider watching it again? I wouldn't consider watching another minute of this show. My wife and I started it, halfway through it, we're like, do you want to just turn it off? We probably should have. We watched it all, every episode. Every single episode was, this is so terrible, should we turn it off? Should we turn it? It's just horrible. Absolutely horrible. Terrible decisions from Disney. Alright, my litmus test. The Mandalorian. I loved it. Did I watch it again? Yeah, I watched it a couple of times. Maybe a third time. Really good show. I enjoyed it. And I think it got perpetually less interesting as time went on. But then we got Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett, on the other hand, flips the script. They took a character that was really cool, bad as can be, and they turned him into a weenie. Basically, that's what they did. He's a softie. And he's no longer cool. Part of the character of Boba Fett was the mystique. The fact that he was only in the movie for a few minutes. He doesn't have a huge role, and he's really cool looking, but he's only there for a little bit. But now, not only is in there a lot, but he's turning into a softie. He's not bad as can be. I mean, literally, they could bring it back if they make him, Boba Fett again. He's not Boba Fett anymore. He's like Dad Fett or something like that, or Grandpa Fett. No, make him bad as can be again, and, well, he would be awesome. The show would be awesome. Didn't fare very well with viewers. Again, I'm sticking with the facts here. There's opinion and there's facts. Ratings are facts. And ratings can be smudged, they can be faked, they can be lied about, but this is what I have to go on. I didn't make this stuff up. And you can read the top review at the bottom if you ever want to. I included that with this new screen capture tool I have. A whole lot of fun, actually. I actually had more fun playing with that than finding the pictures. But Ahsoka, I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't think it was horrible. I didn't hate it. I think the fact that it surrounds like a continuation of Rebels. Rebels, when it came out, was the best Star Wars media since Return of the Jedi. And I'll stand with that fact. But better media's come since then, but it was the best. And this is a continuation of that in live action. It was okay, and they did okay with it. I think they could have done better. It could have been more interesting, but yeah, I will leave it at okay. A lot of people feel like it was subpar. And I've literally never heard one human being on the planet say one good word about Miss Marvel. I don't have Disney Plus anymore, and I don't watch all this stuff anymore, so I don't know. But this looks like a way better rating than I expected, considering literally every human being that's made a video about this has said it was terrible, and every other person that even mentioned it said it was terrible. I've never heard one human on the planet say something good about it. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 98. Wow. Wow. Then there's the Snow White situation. It's kind of crazy because they remade Snow White and the Seven Dwarves into Snow White and the Fantastic People or something like that. And truth be told, I just kind of quit watching these kind of remakes because they change a classic to the point that it's unrecognizable anymore. And what made it good in the first place, just call it something else and make a whole different movie. If you're not going to make it the same movie. All right, to sum it all up, Star Wars is in a bad place. Disney's a big part of that problem. I can't tell you what Hasbro is thinking when they come out with their announcements of what's new to come, other than they deliberately want to promote Ross and Ollie's as the premier place to buy their product. I'm not even joking, because that's the only place that I seem to look for their product and will buy it for $4. And with the price hikes on Disney Plus and the subpar content that they put out since Endgame, literally, I mean, think pretty much everything since Endgame sucked. Yeah, we got problems in Star Wars, Marvel, and more. But what do you think about this situation with Star Wars? In the comments below, like, subscribe. Tideer Manger out.